Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas still visiting with Pastor Barry Carter. We welcome now Mayor Kathy Catanzaro Perry, who has been one busy bee for the last couple of days. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mayor, first of all, I can't imagine. You've just had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas, New Year's. Things are going great economically in our country. Everything looks like it's on the up and up and up, and things are always great in Massillon. And then you get a phone call. Just talk about what happened, what your reaction to that, and how did that come about?
Well, Friday morning when I received the phone call, it was about 9:30, and it was from the CEO, John Walsh. He said that he needed to share with me that the hospital would be closing, and that is, I heard after that the staff was told that there would be an announcement, and they met them at 7:30 in the morning, and everyone was thinking that they were going to announce an acquisition, and instead they announced the closing.
Did they tell you why they had jumped to the closing rather than an acquisition?
They told me that they were losing $1 million every month, and they couldn't sustain that. And I did have the opportunity later to talk with Quorum themselves and ask, did you put any stopgaps in? Did the physicians didn't even know? Did you ask the physicians to take a cut in their salary? Did you ask the staff to cut any kind of cost? When I came in, we were upside down by about $3 million, $2.6 million, 2.7. And right away, we put in stopgaps.
Right.
And they said they did, but the physicians and staff tell me differently.
So nothing had been, it seems like it's rolling along without anyone saying that, oh, we're seeing some flags here and addressing those as you go. Just suddenly it's all or nothing. Am I hearing this right?
Absolutely. And, it's putting our patients at risk.
Yes.
And that is very upsetting to me as a nurse that, if you're on the west side of our town and you have a heart attack, 4 to 6 minutes is the time that you need to get to some help. Mm-hmm. And that really is going to prolong that time.
Yes, you want to be 4 to 6 minutes away from help and not any longer than that. So what happened next? You went into action very, very quickly. I believe by that afternoon you were having meetings on it.
That, I grew up, when I say this, I really did grow up with most of these doctors. I worked with many of the staff members there, so I was able to put together a meeting with the physicians, and I pulled in some local leaders and some business leaders. Mm-hmm. And we met very quickly at 4 o'clock Friday afternoon. My office was completely full. Scott Oslager attended, and Thomas West, Senator Oslager and Representative West, and Kirk Schuring has been a huge champion in this. I called him first because he assisted with the reservoir as well. Yes. And so I called him first, and he has just been a champion, working side by side with me, minute by minute. We've talked several times a day, trying to make some headway and to keep a hospital in Western Star County. It's not just the city of Massillon, Susie. It's all of Western Star County.
Mm-hmm. Just as you're saying all those names, I'm loving it because, and I mentioned this to Pastor Barry as well, this is completely nonpartisan. This is something where you see people can work together with a common good.
Oh, you know what? I've always been able to work on both sides, and truly respect them as well. And so it's about the community. It's about access to health care. It's about health, welfare, and the prognosis of our community. And it's going to devastate this community without a local hospital. And unfortunately, I know Quorum knows that because, as in their mission statement, it says that.
So, again, I go back. Why do they forget to peek at the mission statement occasionally? I know a lot of places have them hanging on every wall, and you visit it before every board meeting. How did they get so off mission in this case?
Well, I think that, there are a lot of things that they never called the mayor's office. Let me just say this.
That's amazing.
We help a lot of businesses if they need help with their facade, if they need connected, if they need financial help. We have a Stark Economic Board that Ray Hexmer leads. I mean, we can connect people if they need help. And not one time did they ask us for help. Not one time did they ask the physicians or staff for help. So, to me it looks like they're looking at, their stockholders and, the importance of that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be facetious there. That's important, but it's not important as life and death.
That's right. Well, stockholders get sick too, and they're going to want a hospital to go to when that day comes.
Right.
What can you tell us that happens at those meetings? What kinds of ideas have come up that you are able to share with us, if any?
Well, one thing that has come out of that is that the physicians are organizing to try to purchase the hospital. And, I know they have probably 14 to 20 physicians that are willing to put money together to do so.
Wow.
That is outstanding. We're seeking an injunction to slow this down because try to put a business plan together in less than 30 days.
Right.
It's impossible. And Quorum is, shutting the doors and putting our community at risk. And we have some options to give them, but we have to have time to put that together. And actually, they sent me a letter, and they want it by Monday. Now,
what?
Monday is actually Martin Luther King Day.
Exactly. There's no mail that day.
They want it by Monday. And, a lot of people don't work on Monday. We've been working around the clock on this. Mm-hmm. We're also working with Kirk Schering. He's introduced a bill that does not allow a for-profit hospital in Stark County to close for 9 months. They have to announce and close. Mm-hmm. The other thing, Susie, we haven't even seen any financials that prove that they're losing $1 million a month.
Is that happening or is that projected? Right. Yeah.
But is it actually happening, and is it every month, and is there any months that you're in the black? And so there's just so many questions that we have unanswered, and so unfair to this community. I call it irresponsible of Quorum to do this to a community like this and give us this short notice. If we had even a little bit longer, we could at least plan out better what our solutions could be, and instead we're scrambling to find solutions.
Are they willing to come to a table and discuss some solutions?
Well, in their letter that they sent me, and we're sending a response back today, asking them just what are you selling? They said, well, we're willing to work with you if you have a serious purchaser. Well, they didn't include a price. They didn't include financials. They didn't include if there is a price, what is included in that price. So it's just kind of like we have no time to waste, and now we're going to send letters back and forth. Our council wanted to have a conference call with them, and instead they sent a letter. So we're working as diligently as we can. We're leaving no stone unturned, and just Pastor Barry has been praying for our community, and as I have been.
Yes. I love that Massillon has a chaplain, first of all, and that he's included in all of these discussions. Are you feeling optimistic? Where are we with this? And what can listeners do? And hopefully by the time this airs, it's all settled and we have a hospital.
Well, listeners can continue to pray,
yes.
And I'm a big believer in God and Christian, so I've been praying. I've been looking to Him for guidance, and I think that our community needs to reach out to the newspaper, to Quorum, and let them know how important this hospital is, what an asset this is to our community, and we're going to continue to work with Kirk. We're working with our council to get this injunction to slow things down so that we can put together a proper plan. And then, we're working with the doctors to try to create a group to look forward to purchasing it. Mm-hmm. So there are some things we're doing. There are some things I can't discuss that we're doing.
Sure.
But we are working together. And I would tell you, Perry Township has called me, Jackson Township. Sherrod Brown, Jim Renacci, Rob Portman, everyone is, Thomas West, everyone is helping
to work.
Save our hospital.
Yeah.
And I'm so appreciative, and we're going to continue to plow through this. We're going to work until, we get a resolution.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know our listeners, I know they will be great prayer warriors. Some of them are also very good writers, letters to the editor writers. Does that make a difference? Do things like that help?
I think the stories help, how the hospital has helped individuals. I know I got an email from a resident that talked about her son has an allergy to bees, and they would not have made it to to another hospital.
Wow.
So that's how life and death time is for, where the hospital's positioned. It is minutes and seconds count, and it's important that we have one.
No, I think we all know stories. A very good friend, a colleague that I used to work with, had some kind of a brain aneurysm, but was just close enough to that hospital to get in there in time. Had a second one, was just close enough to get in there in time. And, is a practicing attorney today. So, would not happen. It just wouldn't have happened if, as you say, location, and we need a hospital in that location. We've talked about what we can do. We certainly will be praying for you. Mayor Kathy Catanzaro Perry, we certainly appreciate you so much. And all of this. Final thoughts from you, a good word from you to leave us on.
Well, I would just say that, we are going to continue to hope and pray for a miracle, and that truly will be a miracle for the city of Massillon. And Pastor Barry knows it will not be the first miracle. It will be the second miracle
That's right.
in our city, because he was, and our good friend Rick Morenzi, were the first two people to create the first miracle. So,
and we know that to be the homeless shelter that still exists to this day that we were going to lose because of an emergency room. Also, an important thing to have in a community, but that the folks that are needing temporary shelter are still cared for as well.
Well, I would just say this: it is a critical need in our community. It's not, okay, we can have one or we can't. It is critical that we have a hospital in the city of Massillon.
Okay, so failure's not an option. All right,
not an option.
Okay. All right, Pastor Barry.
Thank you so much,
Mayor Kathy Catanzaro Perry and Pastor Barry Carter. We thank you so much for all you're doing, your diligent work on behalf of our community.
Okay, thank you, and have a great day.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.